Hello subscribers, this is yours truly JBlue68 coming to you with yet another video. This will be my last video for the month of May. Today being May 31st, and actually the last comic book day for the month of May. And man, this has been a tremendous month for me. One of the best months, I should say, of the year for me so far anyway. Just a fantastic month, and I thank God for that, and for my life, and to have actually been able to have this wonderful experience that I've had for this month, which actually is one of my favorite months of the year. Happy Comic Book Day first, and thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, for liking, sharing, and commenting. Please continue to do so and tap the notification bell so you get more videos like this as I post them immediately. Let's get this into focus here. And again, this is going to be a brief comic book haul. This is based off of independent comics. There will be no DC or Marvel comic books in this haul. Some of these books I picked up from my local comic book shop, and others actually from Motor City Comic Con, which is one of the events I wanted to mention in this particular video that I attended. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of my videos by now. I did a walkthrough video. If you haven't, please check it out. That was now about a week ago now, a little over a week ago, last Saturday, at the Suburban Showplay Center out in Novi, Michigan. Very nice, beautiful building, large building. A lot of attendees. There were thousands of folks there, and again, you can see that in my video, Motor City Comic Con 2023. And I was there for 2 days. I did a lot of filming. I've done a lot of video shorts too, specifically of cosplayers. We had a lot of celebrities there, and I'll actually show you. This is here's the Motor City Comic Con program guide. Okay. And we had a lot of celebrities there. I've met a couple, including Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, and I have a video of them as well, of me actually meeting them. Let's see what else should I show in here. The celebrities that were there. We had a lot of comic book guests, but yeah. So we had Christopher Lloyd was there, from Back to the Future. Clark Gregg from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Jason Isaacs from Harry Potter, Star Trek, and Peter Pan. Carl Weathers was there. I got to see him, but I didn't get his autograph, unfortunately. Will Poulter was there, from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Volume 1 and 2. We had Zach Aguilar there, Stephen Amell, who's from Arrow, Michael Biehn from Aliens and the Abyss. I actually got to see Michael Biehn. He's quite tall. I didn't know he was that tall. He's like 6 foot something, I believe. Tony Danza, let's see. And then Ashley Eckstein was there, who plays Ahsoka from the Clone Wars. Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek. Edward Furlong, the actor who played as John from Terminator. And then we had Sean Gunn, the brother of James Gunn, was there, who plays as what is his name? Kraglin. Laurie Holden from The Boys and The Walking Dead. Richard Karn from Home Improvement. Matt Lanter was there, and Maggie Lawson. I'm gonna tell you a story about these two too, by the way, because Matt Lanter plays as Anakin Skywalker. He voices Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars series. James Arnold Taylor was also there, who plays as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Michael Rooker was there from Guardians of the Galaxy. Mark Shepard, Brent Spiner. Brent Spiner's always at our Comic Cons. He always comes to the Motor City Comic Con. Here's James Arnold Taylor and Catherine Tate from Doctor Who, and some other actors. Here's David Ramsey, who plays in Arrow and Dexter. Tara Platt and Emily Bett Rickards, also from Arrow. So yeah, that's the Motor City Comic Con program guy. Again, as I said, we have one of the best Comic Cons, as far as I'm concerned, in the world, right in the Motor City, but it's actually specifically in Novi. And the story of James Lantern, Ashley Eckstein, and James Arnold Taylor, I recorded, I went to the interview room where there was an interview for fans to ask questions, and they did a Q&A. I recorded the entire thing, but like an idiot, unfortunately, I had my headphones in the freaking camera when I was recording, so there's no audio. So I could actually post a video, but there's no audio. Someone else also did a recording of that interview session where there's actually audio and you can actually hear my question. Unfortunately, I haven't posted it, and I don't think I will because, again, I made the mistake of leaving my headphones plugged into the camera phone while I was recording God, and that was a once in a chance opportunity because their autographs are very expensive. I think Ashley Eckstein's autograph is was like $120 a pop, man. But it was well worth it to actually have been in the room with them all at one time. I love Star Wars, Clone Wars. I love, of course, Ahsoka. And I'm a huge Star Wars, Clone Wars fan. I have been for years. And to actually have been in the same room with all three actors from that show was absolutely amazing. And then before that, 2 weeks before that, I think it was May the 6th, we had Free Comic Book Day. And that was really, really nice too. I still have my Free Comic Book Day pencil. That was very, very nice. So again, this has just been an amazing month for me. I'm thankful for it to have actually lived to see it and have this experience that I have now, going to Comic Con for the last 24 years of my adult life. Yes, so that's been between the Motor City Comic Con, New York Comic Con, and Chicago Comic Con, also called C2E2. All right. Okay, so enough of my rambling. Let's get into this comic book haul. First, we get into Dark Horse Comics, the Blue Book. This is issue number 3. I've very much been enjoying this series. The story of Betty and Barney, who have been abducted by aliens. This reads like, I don't know, it's like the X-Files meets, the X-Files meets what? What is his name? The movie that came out, Nope. The movie Nope that came out. It has that kind of vibe to it, and they continue to explore the story of those two characters and what happened during and after their abduction with these aliens. They're being interviewed by a specific organization, a kind of shadow organization to the government. And they're profiling and basically taking notes of their experience and whatnot, and trying to get to the bottom of their stories and exactly what's going on. It's a very interesting story. The artwork is really appropriate for the story as well. So issue number 3 of the Blue Book, and then this I picked up from Motor City Comic Con. From the Dollar Rack, Ice Cream Man, the critically acclaimed horror story from Image Comics. It's been out for some time. I think they're still publishing Ice Cream Man stories. I'm not for sure. I've read a couple of the Ice Cream Man stories, and they are pretty creepy. Each story is individualized, and it reminds me of The Outer Limits, but it revolves around a specific character, and that, of course, being the Ice Cream Man. This is written by W. Maxwell Prince, with Martin Morazzo and Chris O'Halloran contributing to the story. Okay. All right. Excuse me. I don't have a cold. I think there's some dust in here. And speaking of air, it's very hot outside. We are quickly approaching the summer. Summer's here, basically. It's going to be 80 degrees this week, and I think it's supposed to get up to 90 on Thursday. Okay. Then we get into book number 3 of Clear, also from Dark Horse Comics, and this is by Scott Snyder. I read this book, and I was really kind of lost. It's kind of like this. How can I describe this story? It's like I don't know, The Matrix It reminded me of The Matrix, very much so. In terms, it's in a dystopian type era rather, um, with a guy who's like he's like an undercover officer, a police officer, or something. I really don't know what the hell was going on with this book. I mean, I do and don't. Again, I was kind of lost with some of the narrative here, and I'm surprised it ended in just 3 books. I thought that they would have went all the way up to at least 5 issues, but this was the final issue of Clear. I love the artwork, definitely. I'll show you a little bit of it real quick. I really love the cover art. But I'll show you a little bit of the inside of the pages. I'm probably going to have to give this a second read because, again, I was a little lost. I mean, the way it started off, it made sense, but then the way it ended, I don't know. I don't really know what to say to this, but here's some of the artwork from the pages here. The artwork is very, very, I think, well done, well drawn, etc., etc. And it's this character right here that kind of confused me, but I see where they were going with where Scott was going with the story. But again, like I said, I'm gonna give a second read. I want to read them all back to back, and probably once I read them all back to back, I'll probably be a little bit more aware of what's going on. I mean, have you ever read a comic book, and then you start, it starts off where it's understandable, but then by the time you get to the middle or end of the story, you're confused. Well, that's happened with me with several books that I've read. But anyway, that's issue number 3 of Clear. Next up, we get into Family Tree, also a very popular comic book. This is from Image Comics. This is number 1. I heard so much about this story, but I really never got a chance to read it. This is written by Jeff Lemire with Phil Hester, Eric Gapster, and Ryan Cody contributing to the story. I believe this is out in trade paperback now, or hardcover. I'm going to check it out one day where I can actually read this story in a compiled, one big compiled read. But yeah, so this is Family Tree issue number 1, another horror comic, by the way. Now, there's been a lot of horror comics that have come out over the past few years, pre-COVID, post-COVID. I guess because a lot of people are scared because of the events that have been going on in the world, and it's actually been written in comic book form. Well, the fear factor has been written in comic book form over the last few years. But I'm not complaining. A lot of these books that have come out that deal with horror and suspense, again, have been very well written and very well done. But I definitely want to read this and see what it's about, and hopefully at some point in time get the trade paperback. Then we get into, what is this, King Kong, issue number 1. This is from Dynamite Comics. Okay, and so I'm a King Kong fan. This is King Kong the Great War, written by Alex Cox with Tommaso Bianchi contributing. It's a pretty cool cover there. I don't think that's the best drawing of King Kong, but it's decent. I can't recall if this is a one-shot or is going to be part of a continued series, but we'll see. All right. And then here is one of my favorite other monsters, Mr. Godzilla. This is by Marino and Dove. Godzilla, part of the Godzilla Rivals series by Alante versus Destroyer. This is an expensive comic from IDW. It's a $7.99 price tag on it, kind of a hefty price tag for a comic book, but that has been the case for this particular series for some time. And of course, as I noted before, IDW has been having some problems. They laid off a bunch of employees a little over a month ago. I'm hoping that they get their act together and that situations can be resolved with their employees and with whatever direction they're trying to go in with the company in terms of their restructuring and whatnot, because people need their jobs. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a lot to design and produce these comic books. So let me just take a sip of coffee here from my I Have Issues cup. All right. And this is a one-shot, by the way. Most of them are, or all of them are, I should say. They're not connected in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Anyway, Boom Studios, a comic book company that actually is doing very, very well. They've been coming out with hit after hit after hit. This is Ghost Thor issue number 1, written by Cullen Bunn, very, very familiar comic book writer. He's written for Marvel Comics. He's written for other comic book companies. I think he's written for DC, but I'm very familiar with his name, and if you read comic books, you are as well. Cullen Bunn, Leo Max, Jason Wardy, Brian Hurt, and Bill Crabtree, all contributing to this book. This is issue number 1. Another horror comic. As you can see, that cover there looks very, very disturbing. Very creepy. All right. Okay. Then next up, we get into Ambassadors number 4. I'm behind on this series. I read number 1. I tried to read issue number 2, just haven't had a chance yet because, again, as you can see in my videos and as you can hear what I'm telling you now, I'm a busy man. I do a lot. For me to sit down and take the time to read a book is a miracle within itself. But I do take the time and find the time to do that. This is written by Mark Millar with Olivier Coipel, The Ambassadors, issue number 4. I was very impressed by issue number 1. And I've heard a lot, nothing but good reviews from others who have reviewed this book and read it from the previous issues. Issue number 4 of The Ambassadors. And then we get back into Image Comics again. This is Todd McFarlane at his best. Gunslinger issue number 20. Loving that cover there, man. That is just an absolutely fabulous cover. All of the Spawn covers have been from the Spawn comic book. The main comic book series and the spin-offs have been very well done. This right here is a portrait, it looks like to me. But one of the things I always brag or am so happy about with Todd McFarlane, the prices of his comic books is somehow, I don't know how, but he's able to keep his books at $2.99, where other comic books, as I just showed you with IDW, $7.99 for their comics. Most comic books are $3.99 on up, $4.99 on up. He's kept the price of his comic books and his toy line at a reasonable price for working class people. I applaud him for that and tip my hat off to him for that as well. But anyway, here's Gunslinger issue number 20 from Image Comics. And again from Image Comics and from Todd McFarlane. And this is part of a connector cover. I actually showed you the other covers previously. This is part of a connector cover series. I'm not going to bring those books out at this time. But this is issue number 341 of the Spawn main line. But there's, what is it? Spawn, Gunslinger, what is the other one? Spawn, what the other Spawn books, whatever their titles are. He's been doing this connector cover thing, which I think is really cool. And as I've said before, the things that you can do with comic books on print versus digital comics. Hey, if you want to read digital comics, knock yourself out. I'm not going to tell you not to, of course, because we all know as collectors, space is an issue with anything that you collect. You know, be it cars, comic books, toys, clothes, shoes, whatever. Space is always an issue. So, you know, it's cool, yes. You know, if you want to download a comic book and read it from your iPad, your smartphone, Android, on your computer, whatever, that's cool. But I believe in collecting the comic books because not only do we have the artwork from the artists themselves, in your hands, but you also support comic book shops, which are small businesses, and of course, as I've said many times before, they need support. Anyway, I'm rambling. Issue 341, Spawn. Cool cover there. Then we get into another book by Mark Millar. This is Nemesis Reloaded, issue number... What is it? What issue is this? 5. I think this is the final issue, I think. Mark Millar, Jorge Jimenez, Nemesis Reloaded. Very cool cover there. I have not read one book yet, but I think if this is being the final issue, if it is, I can just read them all at once. But if not, regardless if it is or not, is or is not, I'll finally get a chance to catch up on the reading with this. Then we have House of Slaughter, issue number 15, which is, of course, a spin-off series of Something is Killing the Children. And again, this is Boom Studios, written by James Tynion, the same writer who wrote the other book that I just showed a moment ago, which was, of course, Blue Book. So this is part 5 of The Butcher's Return, issue 15 from Boom Studios. And Boom Studios, as I said, they're booming, man. Then we get into The Nasty, issue number 2. I did read this. This was a funny book. It's creepy fun. It reminds me of what is that? What is that movie? One of my favorite movies, Fright Night. This is kind of what this reminds me of. It's like Fright Night in a comic book form. This is published by Vault Comics. When I read the first book, I wasn't that impressed, but something happened towards the end of the book, which I won't reveal, which kind of caught my interest and said, okay, all right. You know, it hooked me, and I said I'll go and buy issue number 2. If issue number 2 didn't impress me, then I'll be done with this. Well, I was very impressed, and the writing in this is just very well done. And as I said, it's creepy fun, so to speak, creepy fun. Again, if you've ever seen Fright Night, which was a 1980s film, go check that movie out. Definitely, if you've never seen it, I highly recommend that movie. And I did recommend this book. I'm hoping that the follow-up, issue number 3, will be just as well done. And that's it. We're back to the Blue Book issue number 3. And again, this is by James Tynion. I hope to get a chance to meet him. I think that he's going to be at the New York Comic Con, which I will be at. I will be in New York in October. So that's a ways off. I'm not trying to rush October to get here, but I think that's October the 15th through the 19th or something like that. Yeah, so I hope that he will be there, and I definitely would like to meet him. Yeah, but anyway, that's a ways off from now. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting. Please continue to do the same. Tap the notification bell so you can get more videos like this as I post them immediately. Like, share, and subscribe. And please give the video a thumbs up. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this comic book haul. I hope that you enjoyed this Comic Book Wednesday. Happy Comic Books Wednesday. Peace, love, and hair grease.